I think if we did a better job of reading ingredients, paying attention to what we were putting in our body, we would be healthier as a whole. And that's what we're all about. We want to teach you that if you choose better, you'll have more of an opportunity to feel better. Like, choose better ingredients, choose better for yourself. It's about a lifestyle aspect.
Welcome to Exploring Mind and Body with Drew Tadia. Drew is an expert in nutrition, fitness, lifestyle, and more. And he wants to help you live a healthier, longer, and more active life. Now here's your host, Drew Tadia.
Welcome to another edition of nationally syndicated Exploring Mind and Body. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in, for being a part of our True Form Life community. We're coming at you with a brand new show. We appreciate whether you're listening on terrestrial radio across the country or as a podcast around the world. We certainly wouldn't be here without you. So stick around. We got all that coming up.
This is Exploring Mind and Body. Naturally improve your lifestyle one show at a time with your host, Drew Tadia.
All right, so I just want to jump on here and talk about superior ingredients because the feedback we've had coming through has been amazing. I got to tell you, I'm so grateful for the comments and messages, and people are enjoying the flavor and they're enjoying the texture and how it mixes. So I'm talking about our vanilla protein. You know what's kind of funny is that we have CTP, like we still have it. Of course, when we have new products, we need to promote the new products so people know about them and they know how to use them, and it's exciting. But we've had CTP for so long, which is a meal replacement. And I feel like people often ask for isolates, but they don't really know the difference. They just think they should be taking an isolate. But then now we have an isolate and people are asking, like, oh, it's an isolate. Like, well, it's just protein. So we have 25 grams of protein, 0 carbs, 2 grams of carbs, 0 grams of sugar. But then people are like, oh, well, then I should have some healthy fats. Like, well, there's no fats in there. So, and then carbs, a lot of people are afraid of carbs, but they feel like they should have some carbs. So anyways, I thought I would offer I know what I can do. I would offer a quick recipe for you guys in case. All right, so real quick about superior ingredients. We talked about, I put a really nice blog post together, which I'm going to put this together for. A nice write-up. I'm going to put this video together with a blog post. And I just think, like, it's so hard. Like, we continue to tell people about superior ingredients. Like, what does superior ingredients mean? Like, so many times you have a low quality type of protein supplement and it's chalky, like it tastes chemically because there's chemicals in their protein supplements, and there's tons of them. It's the market, the supplement industry is bombarded with them. So what we're trying to do is teach you that there's a different way and a better way. So our protein doesn't taste chalky because there's no chemicals that cause that chalky taste, that chalky aftertaste. And trust me, I've been there. I've tasted every protein on the market. No, just kidding. But I did go through a lot of proteins in the past, and they just were chalky and chemically. And then, of course, we can talk about digestion, for example. And we had a lot of people write in and say, oh my gosh, I don't have any gas or bloating. I don't have indigestion. And it's because of superior ingredients. Like, we always say, choose better, like make a better choice for yourself. And in many cases, I don't think we realize the difference. Like, we don't realize if you choose better ingredients, it'll react differently in your body. So you're not going to feel gas. You're not going to feel bloated if you have a better quality protein supplement with better ingredients. Better ingredients cost a bit more to produce. So you have to buy a better quality product that costs a little bit more. So if you go to the pharmacy, or if you go to the discount rack, or if you go to Costco and you find a super cheap protein supplement on the shelf because it's a good price, understand that there's a give and take. You're saving money. You might be saving some money, but you're going to be paying for it in the long run. So that, I mean, that's the difference. And again, it's so nice that people are writing in and they're telling us about how well the protein is going for them and how good they're feeling on it and how good it tastes. They're throwing it in smoothies, they're throwing it in shakes. That makes us feel so good. But I want people to understand the reason behind that. I mean, there's a reason behind that. So when you go and buy different, and don't get me wrong, it's not like we're the only company that has a good quality protein. I just think that the majority of people, they'll go and they'll get a really low, like a really cheap protein supplement, and then they compare the two. They're like, oh, I've tried protein, it doesn't work before, it doesn't work for me. And I'm like, well, what have you tried? And then they'll show me, and I'm like, oh. Well, I mean, they're two completely different products that probably shouldn't be in the same category. One should be in the health food category, and then the other should be in a cheap supplements category. And I'd imagine the companies wouldn't want to be in the cheap supplements company, so maybe we'd make them put cleaner ingredients in their products. The only reason we design our own products is because I want there to be a better option on the market, and I want to raise awareness around it. That's why. If there were all clean products, then I probably wouldn't have any purpose in the supplement industry. I wouldn't continue to make better supplements or clean supplements. It's just that the industry it's marinated in low quality, cheap supplements, cheap ingredients. So that's why we have so many people come to us, and there's some of those companies, like some of those like multi-level companies that spend tons of money on marketing, not very much money on the quality of their product. And like some of those companies, they'll tell you just to have a couple of shakes a day. And we have people, and like, don't eat food, just have shakes, you lose a bunch of weight. But of course that isn't sustainable. Like, who's going to have those shakes for the rest of their life? And then, so when they go off the shakes and then start eating food again, their digestive system is upside down. They're like, what's happening? I haven't had food for 6 months or 2 years. Like, what are you doing to me? And those types of people come to us all the time with digestive issues, because that's one of the main things that we do, is help people naturally improve energy and improve their digestion. And I know it's not like a super interesting subject. It's not like pain. Like, pain's a big one that a lot of people are starting to come to us for, like pain and inflammation. And that's a big topic. And I don't know if digestion's a huge topic, because a lot of times people don't realize the difference. They don't realize what it's like to live with proper digestion, or what it's like to live with like the difference. Like, if you're always one way, like if you never sleep, you don't know what it's like to have a good night's sleep. You just think that's normal. If you're always constipated, you just think that's normal. Like, oh, I should probably deal with that at some point in my life, but 10 years later, you haven't really gotten to it. So I don't think people are super interested in changing their digestion right away, or don't know how. So, but it comes to the things that we're putting in our body, it makes such a big difference. So in my bowl, I have yogurt. So in most cases, we choose dairy-free yogurt, but you can choose whatever you want. I mean, I don't really care. Honestly, I'm not going to tell you not to have dairy yogurt. I will tell you that dairy yogurt does cause issues to a lot of people in the digestive system. And that's not my opinion. That's facts. Just look it up. Especially like you look at cow's milk and people get upset, especially like dairy farmers. They say like, why aren't you recommending my milk? I'm like, it's not my opinion. It's facts. Look up the number one allergen, and it will be dairy, will be in the top 3 in every list. So consider, like, when I'm talking about this recipe right here. This is going to be a dairy-free recipe, but you can use dairy if you want. Just understand that you may be intolerant, and you may not even know it. Gut health affects so much. Like, it affects our immune system. It affects our ability to function on a regular basis. If you put hard to digest foods in your body takes all the energy it has and tries to digest that food. So you have no energy. And it's like crazy to me. That's why we go deal with the afternoon crash, because you don't have enough nutrients, or because you have a hard to digest meal. Like, you have a steak and potato at noon with a beer. And don't tell me it doesn't happen. A lot of my friends I grew up in Calgary. A lot of my friends are downtown Calgary. Like, who wants to go for lunch? So they have steak, potatoes, and beer. I have lemon water and salad. I know it sounds ridiculous, right? But that's how it goes. I mean, that's how it is. Those are the life. I'm just telling you, like, we all have to make choices. But when it comes to like your energy, for example, we're putting these foods in our body that's hard to digest, and we just don't connect the two things. Like, why don't I have like, oh, I got a stomach ache or I'm bloated and I have no energy? They don't put those two together. And then on top of that, understand that food plays a role with that as well. So we're continually inflamed and we're continually in pain, and we don't consider what other aspects are happening in our life. So if you guys are watching, let me know that you're in here. They changed the privacy settings on Facebook, so I can't see people in groups unless you say, hey, how you doing? Okay, so my quick recipe, I just said at the beginning, I said it's kind of funny that, so we have CTP as a meal replacement. And now that we have an isolate, people are like, oh, I need more nutrients than a protein. So, but with a meal replacement, as CTP is, you can't turn that into an isolate. Do you know what I mean? But with our vanilla protein, which is an isolate, you can turn that into a meal. So I'm going to show you exactly what that's like, or I'm going to show you a recipe to turn that into a meal in just a second. You know, it's important for us, like, to follow up and to ask our customers how things are going, how they like the product, are they using it? And I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't do that, which is a big mistake, in my opinion. So it's time for me to follow up. And I think, like, sometimes I'm worried about, like, oh, I don't want to hear, like, someday, that's how it goes. Like, some days you get 5 people that say, oh, it was horrible, I didn't like it, blah, blah, blah. We have a bunch of different products, and you get all kinds of different feedback. And some days I feel like I have to be, like, very strong and confident to make those calls and send those messages, because I don't know what feedback is going to come. And then, of course, you get those days where everything is, like, fantastic, like everything, oh, it's great, I love this, I love that. But that's part of it. I don't want people to lie, or I don't want people to be like, oh yeah, it's great, never buy a night again. We have been getting some really good feedback. People have been enjoying so many different things of it. So we just have to continue to, we got a lot of it, so we have to continue to talk about it, promote it, share it, and let people know that there's different options, and the difference between the options. Because so ours is $32 for that container there, and then we sell 2 for $59. So we give you a little bit of break if you buy 2. But I think it's very comparable and very reasonable. Like, I've done tons of market research around different products and what you get. But understand, like, so here's the thing, like, a lot of people, they just look at the serving size and they look at the quantity, like how many servings is it going to last. So how much does it weigh and how many servings? That's what people ask. But in a lot of cases, people don't ask about the ingredients. So they'll compare ours. We have organic ingredients, fermented ingredients, and sprouted ingredients. All better quality, all better for absorption, digestion. Your body will utilize, absorb, turn into energy. This product much better than a really cheap product. So you might get a product like this for, let's say, the same price and the same serving size and the same weight. So and then you might find that for $28.99. The prices are very comparable. You might find some super cheap, but I would caution you strongly to stay away from those ones. So let's say you find one for like $19.99. Let's just say, like, understand that those ingredients are probably the lowest you could find, because there's like the margin, like their ingredients have to be super cheap for them to be able to sell a product that cheap. And if you have cheap ingredients, understand that that's going to create inflammation in your body, like we talked about with Jen. That's going to create digestive issues. And then people are going to compare that cheap one to ours, and they're going to be like, oh, well, that one didn't work, so yours isn't going to work either. But again, so we have a good quality product with good quality ingredients, and people just look at the serving size and how much it weighs. Then they look at their container that they got at the discount rack, and they're like, oh, well, why would I take yours? Just because of the education, which is why we're here. But the thing is, we say that you don't always have to never have these foods again. Like, we don't necessarily promote steak for digestion purposes and other reasons, especially the size. Like if you're going to have steak, have a like 4 ounce, not 12 ounce. But we tell people, like, once you start to eat cleaner or put better foods in your body, or different foods that will help digest, for example, you'll start to crave those different foods. And again, I'm not saying you should never have a steak. I'm just saying often the size of the steak matters. Often when you're eating it matters. And there's a lot of factors in there. And we know farmers, and I have family that are farmers, and I don't want to put that industry down or those people down. I'm just saying, like, understand what you're putting in your body, how much you're putting in your body, what it's going to do to your body. So I'm not saying that you should never have a bag of chips, or you should never have a Blizzard from Dairy Queen. Like that's your own choice. All I'm saying is, like, when we talk about this and teach this lifestyle, is that eventually you'll want those foods less. Like, you'll naturally gravitate. The more you have better types of food in your body, the more you want better types of food. And every once in a while you go back and you have something that you probably shouldn't have. Like, I'll tell you real quick. I used to love Blizzards. It was like a childhood thing for me. Like, I loved Blizzards. It was like a treat. So then became an adult, and I made my own choices, and I had my own money, so I'd go and get Blizzards when I felt like it. And then I started to clean up my diet and clean up my digestion and lifestyle. And this is a slow process over the years. So every once in a while I would go and grab a Blizzard. So then I used to get a big Blizzard, and then I would slowly decrease, and I got a smaller Blizzard and a smaller. But then I would get the smallest one, which was still still like $7, which also bothers me. Like $7 for that much ice cream, or whatever it is. It's overpriced, regardless, especially for what you're getting. And so this didn't matter. I had a big one, and I got a stomach ache, and I had a smaller one, and I'm like, okay, I want a Blizzard, but I'm going to get a smaller one. And so I kept getting a smaller one and smaller one, and then it didn't matter. So I was down to the smallest one, and I would have them less frequently as well, and I would still get a stomach ache. So I've avoided them for quite some time now. I'm not quite sure when the last time I had one was. But now when I think of them, I have a correlation with stomach aches. So Dorothy and I joke all the time. We drive Dairy Queen. I'm like, hey, you want to stop for a stomach ache? And in most cases, it's like, no, thanks. Like I don't remember the last time I had one. And it's not to say I'm never going to have one again, but I'm just saying, like, consider what you're putting in your body, because it's going to make a difference. Jane says, so true. My stomach always tells me when I go over the edge. Sometimes it's worth it, but usually not. Yeah. In most cases, it's not worth it. For example, like you have a meal that you don't necessarily have very often, and you enjoy it. Like, it tastes good, you enjoy it, and it's over with. So that meal is over with in, I don't know, like, it should take you at least 30 minutes to eat a meal. It takes most people 5 to 10 minutes to eat a huge meal. Again, why we deal with digestion issues. But if you eat your meal slowly and enjoy it, it'll last longer as well. But let's say it takes you 20 minutes to eat a meal. In most cases, we're dealing with stomach ache issues, constipation, or diarrhea, or digestion issues for an hour after. So for me, like, that trade-off of 20, 30 minutes of enjoying that meal to feeling horrible for the next couple hours, and then maybe even feeling guilty the next day, just doesn't seem to even out for me. So let me get into this recipe here. So if you look at yogurt in general, like, yogurt is, you could look at, I guess it really depends, but I would look at yogurt as a carb for most cases, unless you get like a really clean, I'm not like a super yogurt person, so you have to bear with me. I used to eat yogurt all the time, but yogurt's ingredients are rarely clean. There's tons of sugar and tons of, like, modified starch and all kinds of nonsense in there. So in most cases it's a carb, but you can find better, cleaner ones that are higher in protein and I believe lower in carbs. But I would read the ingredients at any time. So I put yogurt in here. This is dairy-free yogurt. Again, you can use dairy yogurt if you want. So and then this is at 0 sugar. But what's nice about vanilla protein is it's flavored, and I mean, it's flavored and there's no sugar in there. So what I'm going to do, so you have your carbs. So in most cases, you want to find to make a meal, you want to have all your macronutrients. So you want to have a protein, a slow carb, you want to have antioxidants and fiber. Oh my gosh, protein, carb, fat, antioxidants, and fiber. Yes, I say it all the time. Okay, so we're going to sprinkle some hemp seeds into our yogurt. Okay, so hemp seeds are a superfood, which means they're a complete protein. They have all the essential amino acids. So this is actually, you're adding protein in here. These also have tons of healthy fats. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold this up high enough so you can see, and hopefully I don't miss the bowl. Okay, I don't really measure. You could probably put 2 to 4 tablespoons in there, depending on your preference or palate. Okay, and then I'm going to mix that up. So now we have our carb, is the yogurt, and now we have healthy fats and even added protein. So we have 2 of our antioxidants. There's also lots of fiber. I don't have an added fiber. Like for me, an added fiber is like, in most cases, is a vegetable. So I'm not going to throw a vegetable in here. But, you know, it's kind of cool. Is this lady she's growing tomatoes, and she gave me like a whole bowl of tomatoes, and it's sitting on my counter. So anytime I go there, I grab a tomato and pop it in my mouth. So tomato is actually a fruit, but it has tons of antioxidants, and it also has lycopene in it, which helps make your skin more elastic. So maybe that'll help some of you avoid those makeup companies. I'm laughing at myself here, but like, it's so ridiculous to me. I just did a whole podcast on like the toxins we put on our bodies, but some of the promises that companies make are ridiculous, and then we believe them. Like we eat them up. Like, oh, I could look like a 19-year-old. I don't really enjoy wrinkles or gray hair, but I don't want to look like a 19-year-old either. So. At any rate, okay. So then, of course, we have our protein. So now I'm just going to sprinkle my protein. So when I put this in my yogurt, I just use a half a scoop. That's just because it mixes better with a half a scoop. Only like I could make it mix better if I was going to eat more yogurt, but that's about as much yogurt as I want. That's probably a cup of yogurt. Okay, and then I'm going to mix this up. And that's it. So with this, for example, that you have 25 grams of protein with just the protein, like the protein powder. And then we added hemp seed, which is, again, is a complete protein, also has healthy fats. And then we have our yogurt, which is a slow carb. So you have a pretty complete meal right here. And that's it. Like this could be a breakfast. Like this could be a breakfast, right? How many people say I don't have time for breakfast, or I don't have time to cook, or I don't feel like it, or I don't have the ingredients? Like, go and buy 3 ingredients, put it on your counter. I don't care if you're like, you want to buy, if you want to buy things that put toxins in your body. Like, for example, like that one's easy. Like the makeup or cosmetic one is easy because it's so like I get like spam daily of companies being like, hey, have you heard of this product? It's good for men too. And I'm like, no, I'm like, just look a little bit what I'm about before you try to sell me something. Like before you go and sell something, you should find out who the person is, what they do, what they believe in. For example, if I run into someone that's completely against protein supplements, then why would I message them and say, hey, do you want some protein supplements? So that one's an easy one for me to make fun of, but I can make fun of any like toothpaste company or soap company. Like I don't even know if I should get into it. Like there's a lot of like we're in LA, like we're in LA. but it's everywhere now. It's everywhere. Like all like facelifts and Botox and like, things that make you look younger. And it's something that we deal with. Like we deal with on a regular basis. Like as we get older, like how you deal with the gray hairs, and how do you deal with like the wrinkles? Like I don't like them any more than anyone else. At this point in my life, I wouldn't do any of those other cosmetic things that some people are doing. And like I said, there's no judgment, but someone asked us, like, how do you live in an area that's like, it's seemingly quite superficial with everyone's how you look, and how your body looks, and how your face looks, and you got the bright white teeth, and what it's like. How do you live like that? And I just say we're really strong in our beliefs and our values, and like what we believe in, and that is what, I mean, that's our core. Like that's what we believe in. That's not going to change or alter. So we're just strong in what we believe in, so that other stuff really doesn't bother us. Like it doesn't really affect us very much. So anyways, so this is a different way for you to enjoy your protein. I just want to give you a different idea and a different perspective. I think if we did a better job of reading ingredients, paying attention to what we were putting in our body, we would be healthier as a whole. And that's what we're all about. We want to teach you that if you choose better, you'll have more of an opportunity to feel better. Like choose better ingredients, choose better for yourself. It's about a lifestyle. It's about a lifestyle aspect, if you will. It's a holistic. It's not just one thing. Like we're not just talking about seeing how much protein you can get in, for example. We're talking about better quality ingredients, better quality of life, what you put in your body. It's how we roll. We just finished an amazing detox group, 7-day detox group around detoxify yourself. And it was awesome. We had great conversations, and we talked about ingredients. That's something that I really enjoy talking about. So, but we got more tips and suggestions and ideas. We're actually going to do a smoothie and shake challenge here in the near future coming up. So we're going to post recipes every day. We'll do lives every day. We'll do a 7-day challenge around smoothies and shakes. And we'll teach you all about different recipes, how to make your smoothies, how to change them or alter them, and then how to use different protein supplements like this. Like that's just a super easy way to make a whole meal. Like could be anyone's breakfast in the morning. And you know what the thing is? A lot of people say, "Oh, I can't have breakfast," because they go for like 10 years never eating breakfast. And then one time they try to have breakfast, and their body's like, "What are you doing to me?" So then they deal with digestion issues, and then they're like, never having breakfast again. So we have to and then in many cases it's like you go and have a big meal, like you have pancakes and scrambled eggs, and you go to a restaurant, and you're like, oh, what did I do? But this would be a really nice recipe for you that's easy to digest for people just getting into breakfast and just trying to feel better about themselves and get nutrition in their body first thing in the morning. I'm going to wrap things up here, though. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful day, and I will catch you guys later.
All right, that's going to wrap things up for this edition of Exploring Mind and Body. Once again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in and being a part of our True Form Life community. You can always find us on Facebook.com/TrueFormLife. We post up there a couple times a day on our story. We're always trying to bring you more content around living a healthy lifestyle, whether that be nutrition, fitness, lifestyle, and more. We also have free challenges that we do at least once a month. So if you follow us along there, you'll be able to join maybe a plank challenge or a squat challenge, Tabata challenge, whatever it may be. We'd love to have you join us. We're also on Instagram.com/DrewTadia. Again, we're posting up there a couple times a day along with our story, all dedicated to keeping you fit and healthy and on track. Our main website is trueformlife.com. If you want to check out some of our products, some of our services, or if you just want some great content from videos to blog posts and recipes and more, we got all that at trueformlife.com. Once again, thank you so much for being here. That's it. That's all I got. I'm out of here. As always, I'm your host, Drew Tadia, in health and fitness for a better world. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to Exploring Mind and Body with Trueform Life's Drew Tadia, fitness expert. To find out more about the show, Drew Tadia, or to listen to past shows, visit exploringmindandbody.com.